I'm AJ Lindner, and this is the How to Play video for Bar Fight. Bar Fight is a drinking game designed for 4 to 8 players, works best with 6. In order to play, you will need a copy of the rules, you will need the specialized Alliance and Betrayal card decks, you will need some form of currency, you only need $1 increments. In this game we will be using playing cards, where each card counts as $1, and you'll need alcohol. Preferably a lighter drink like beer or a light wine or a diluted mixed drink, but you can use whatever you'd prefer. To start this game, the first thing you're going to want to do is pick your bartender. Your bartender has one of the most important roles in the game, in that they determine the house rules and they settle all disputes that arise in the game. They have the final say in any questions that arise that are not explicitly addressed in the rules themselves. For example, the rules do not specify what constitutes a drink. So the bartender gets to decide what a drink is. Usually it's going to be a sip, but they could say, for example, a drink will not count unless you sip for at least 2 full seconds. Or if you're playing with hard liquor, a drink is half of a shot. After that, you're going to shuffle the Betrayal deck and the Alliance deck very well. And then you're going to deal each player $7 with whatever your currency is. You could use bottle caps, you could use play money, whatever you decide. Playing cards are really accessible, so I like to use those. Everyone gets $7, and then everybody gets to draw 1 white Alliance card and 1 green Betrayal card. The way this game works is each player will take their turn, do everything that they want to do, and then pass play to the next person. Play goes clockwise, but if the bartender decides, it can go counterclockwise. There are 4 things that you can do on your turn. You have to do them in the order that they're listed in the rules, but you do not have to do everything on the list. The first thing that you can do on every turn, and you have to do this first, is you can take up to 3 drinks, and you get $1 from the bank for every drink that you take. So if you take 1 drink, you just get $1. If you take 3, you get $3. Next thing, you get to draw 1 card for free. Either an Alliance or a Betrayal, it's up to you. I'm going to go with an Alliance card. Now, you can pay to draw extra cards on your turn. So it costs $2 to draw 1 card, $5 to draw 2 cards, or $9 to draw 3 cards. You can only do this at this point of your turn, so take advantage of it if you wish to. And then you can play any cards that you want to out of your hand. So Betrayal and Alliance are the 2 factions in the game. Betrayal cards fuck everyone over. They'll make people take drinks, they'll set people up as rivals, they'll let you make rules that will affect the rest of the game, etc. Alliance cards, on the other hand, are there to help you out. So they'll help you earn money, draw extra cards, form alliances with players, and they'll also let you get out of challenges and get out of drinks that you don't want to take. So the way the game flows is after you play a card, you pay the cost back into the bank, which is just where all the extra money that isn't in someone's hand is being stored. So right now it's this deck of playing cards. And after you play the card, you just set it face up next to the deck. So if you play a Betrayal card, it goes next to the Betrayal deck, Alliance next to the Alliance deck. Very simple. The purpose of that is that if you run out of cards in a deck and you're still playing the game, you can just shuffle the discard pile and it becomes the new deck. Because the game doesn't have an official end point, the game ends when everyone is too drunk to remember that they're playing, which happens every single time. So now I'm going to get into the matches, or the relationships in the game. There's rivalries and alliances. These are special player relationships that can be started by playing certain cards. So rivalries are simple. If you are in a rivalry with another player, then anytime either one of you has to take a drink for any reason, the other one also has to drink. So for example, if it's the beginning of your turn and you're taking 3 drinks to get $3, your rival also has to take 3 drinks. They don't get the $3, they just match you for the drinks that you take. It works both ways, and any player who is already matched, so somebody who's in a rivalry or in an alliance, cannot be matched with another player. There are cards in the deck that will break up rivalries and alliances. Once you break someone out of one, they can get back in one again, but you cannot be part of 2 rivalries, 2 alliances, or one of each, or any sort of combination. Alliances are a bit more complex. If you're in an alliance with another player, you essentially count as one player in terms of drinking. So what that means is, anytime either of you has to drink, the other can offer to substitute a drink for themselves. So, for example, if it's my turn and I want $3, and I'm in an alliance with my friend, I can take 2 drinks, he can take my third one for me, and I can still get my $3. In a situation where everybody has to drink, like if a waterfall is played, only one of us has to participate. 2 other important mechanics are betting and motivating. Betting is simple. For example, the card Bar Fight lets you pick 2 people to have a chugging contest. Other players who are not participating are allowed to bet on the outcome of that contest. Everybody will put their money into the pool. Just everyone who bets puts their money in the center. Keep up with who bet on who. At the end of the chugging contest, whatever challenge it is, the money in the pot is doubled from the bank and then split among the person who won the challenge and everybody who bet on that person. If it's not an even split, take more money from the bank to make it an even split so everyone gets the same amount of money. So for example, if $11 was in the pot and it gets doubled to 22 and there are 3 people who the money gets split between, add 2 more so it's $24 and everybody gets 8 and it's fair and even. Motivating is a little different but also similar. Motivating, for example, is on the Truth or Dare card. Cards that have Motivate cost X to play instead of a standard amount. So for example, with Truth or Dare, you would play the Truth or Dare card, ask someone Truth or Dare. They accept, let's say they choose Dare. You would give them their Dare and then say, this is worth $3. All the other players are allowed to motivate by adding more money into the pot for that Dare. If they do the Dare, or whatever challenge it is, then they get the money that's in the pot. But if they don't do it, then they have to drink once for each dollar in the pot and everyone gets their money back. So let's get into the layout of the cards themselves. So, each card has a few components to pay very close attention to. The top of the card has the name. The middle of the card has the description of what it does. Now, the bottom left corner is how much it costs in order to play that card. So for example, this card right here, Who Are You Again, will cost $5 to play. Now, some cards in the bottom right-hand corner have a little triangle symbol. The triangle symbol means that this card stays on the field. It doesn't go to the discard pile. It stays on the field in effect until somebody else plays the same card, and then it goes into the discard pile. So for example, this card lets you take over the role of Question Master. You are the Question Master until somebody else plays another Who Are You Again. Again, if a card has X in the bottom left-hand corner where the cost is, that means you decide how much it's worth. It is a card that allows you to motivate. If a card has a 0 in the bottom left-hand corner, that means it doesn't cost anything to play it. Now, just like the small triangle in the bottom right corner that means it stays in play, some cards have a small star in the bottom right-hand corner. So for example, I'm the DD. Lets you skip a drink or a drink challenge. That star in the bottom corner means you do not play this on your turn. This is something you play on somebody else's turn. So for example, if somebody dares you to do something or wants you to compete in a bar fight, you would play this card and get out of it. Now there are a few cards that I want to go through and clarify what they do. Some of them are similar or borrowed from other drinking games, so they may seem familiar already. So the first one would be Who Are You Again, which makes you the Question Master. The way that works is, as long as you are the Question Master, if you ask anybody who's playing the game a question, and that question is not about the rules of the game, how to play, whose turn it is, etc., and they answer your question, they have to take a drink. So it can be something really off-putting or really sneaky, just like, hey, where'd you get that shirt? If they answer it, they drink. But if you say, hey, is it your turn or is it my turn? That doesn't count. That's a bit unfair. Next is waterfall. The way waterfall works is, let's say I play it. Everybody takes their drink and starts drinking at the same time. You keep a constant, not exactly a fast chug, but just a constant stream of drinking. The person to my left cannot stop drinking until I put my drink down. The person to his or her left cannot stop till he or she stops drinking, all the way around the circle. The next one is, that's not how you play. That's not how you play says, you can make a minor rule that doesn't change the gameplay. This is similar to like Rule Master in Ring of Fire or King's Cup. The way this works is you make a rule. This rule stays into play the rest of the entire game. The important issue is that it doesn't change the gameplay or the rules of the game itself. So, for example, you cannot exclude somebody from drinking or exclude somebody from play, etc. You can, for example, put a double drink rule into effect where every time you would have to take a drink, you have to take 2 drinks, but it still counts as 1. The next one is bar fight. Now, bar fight itself is just pick 2 people, make them have a chugging contest, players can bet. The confusing part is where it says choose an alliance, a rivalry, or 2 unmatched players. The reason for that is there's all sorts of confusing questions that come up if somebody in a rivalry is having a chugging contest with someone else, whether the other person in the rivalry also has to drink, same way with an alliance. So, you can either choose 2 players who are matched in a rivalry, 2 players who are matched in an alliance, or 2 players who are not matched at all. The last one I'd like to explain is Come At Me Bro. Now, this card states, accept a dare, players can motivate. If you do the dare, you get the money. If not, you drink equal to half the money. So the way this works is you would play this on your turn, and somebody will give you a dare to do and then motivate, as if somebody else had played a truth or dare card. So somebody will give you a dare to do, put in money that it's worth, all the other players will add money to the pool for you to do the dare. The advantage of this is, if you do the dare, you get the money. If you don't do the dare, instead of drinking once for each dollar, you drink once for every $2. So if there's $10 in the pot and you choose not to do the dare, you only have to drink 5 times instead of 10 times. Now when you're playing, keep in mind, the bartender has the say, but the bartender also plays an important role in keeping the game fair. If the bartender is making rules or decisions that make the game unfair to the rest of the players, it's up to you to betray him as much as possible. The game works well when the bartender plays fairly. That's the entire purpose of the role, is to keep the game maintained and fair, as well as allowing the players an element of control over the intensity of the game itself. So, bartenders, make sure to keep your rulings fair. Also, of course, it is a drinking game, so drink responsibly, pace yourself, watch what you're drinking, and be careful of everybody around you.